Hey guys, Corey here. Welcome to a very special podcast. I get a lot of comments and messages on my social media asking, Corey, how did you immigrate to Ukraine? What is the process like? What type of visa do you need? What kind of visa do you have? And instead of answering all of you guys individually, I love doing that, but I thought maybe I can make a video. And I'm making this video in collaboration with my good friend and my lawyer. His name is Yurii Bielokon. He works for Intermarium law firm. He does corporate law, he does immigration law as well. So I wanted to sit down, chat with him, answer all the questions that you guys have. So Yurii, how are you, man?
Still alive, as we say nowadays in Ukraine.
Well,
So nice to meet you again, Corey.
I don't know, it's always great chatting with you, having some water. Exactly.
Thank
But
you.
yeah, but it's great to have you here because I feel like this will be very useful for a lot of people that are looking to immigrate to Ukraine. And we discussed, the topics beforehand, and you were telling me that there's many types of visas to come to Ukraine, but we're going to talk about the main four. Can you talk about what they are?
Let's discuss main four reasons for coming to Ukraine. It's volunteer status, work status, family relationship to Ukraine, and those who come to serve in military.
And also property investment, right?
Yeah, of course,
'cause you
and
can get a
property
visa.
investors.
Yeah, because you can get a visa for property investment. But we'll go over those one at a time. The first one I want to talk about is probably, would you say, actually, before that, answer me this. Do you think the process to coming to Ukraine to getting a visa is difficult or easy?
Okay, I mean, it depends on many factors on your citizenship, if you lived in Ukraine before or no, if you overstayed ever in Ukraine or no, but in general, it's not tough.
Yeah, I don't think it's tough as well. So I'll talk about my experience, and you've helped me over all of these years, and then we became friends, which is great. So my experience was like this. I was a volunteer. I got this volunteer visa in order to get this, I guess, Visa D. So what is Visa D, first of all?
So Visa D is any visa that allows you to get residence permit in future. In your particular case or in case of other volunteers, it's either Visa D10 or Visa D7 that allows you to get residence permit on volunteer basis.
Okay, great. Because I got a Visa D first. In order to get this Visa D, I had to leave the country, right? So,
Exactly.
Yeah, so I was in Ukraine. I got the Visa D. I had to leave the country to go to an embassy, a Ukrainian embassy abroad, and I went to the one in Poland. And then I had to pay like a fee at the embassy over there. And then after a few days, I got the visa, came back to Ukraine. And then how long was it? It's been so long that I've done this. So how long is it before I can apply for the temporary residence through this Visa D?
Okay, so yes, Visa D you can get at any diplomatic representation of Ukraine outside of Ukraine, any embassy in Poland, in US, in China, anywhere where Ukrainian embassy exists. Yes, and visa is always issued for 90-day period, but better not later than 1 month before visa expiry, you apply for temporary residence permit. And getting temporary residence permit since submission till you pick it up is probably 3-week period time.
Okay, and so you can help with this whole process, right? Visa D, temporary residence. Can you talk about, the documents that you need in order to apply for the Visa D and the temporary residence after you get the Visa D?
Okay, so let's start from Visa D. It's either D10 or D7, depending on type of NGO, if it is Ukrainian-based NGO or foreign NGO with a representation office in Ukraine. But first thing, you have to get invitation from registered NGO or charity organization, and then book appointment with any embassy or consulate of Ukraine, arrange travel insurance from Ukrainian company, and basically apply with these documents for the visa.
Okay, say if I'm a foreigner and I'm abroad right now, is it possible for you to help me get this visa while I'm abroad? Maybe you can do it via online on the phone, just to get it started? Or do they have to meet you in person to get this started?
It's not obligatory to meet in person, but for example, if someone is, let's say, in London and want to apply for Ukrainian visa there, and anytime I can send documents to that person through DHL or Nova Post or FedEx or any other postal service to London, that person pick up documents in London and go to Ukrainian embassy. But you always have to have original documents. Exactly. So scans or copies or prints doesn't work. Invitation from NGO have to be original with stamp and signature from head of NGO.
Okay, and so they have to know like an NGO before they come, right? And the NGO can connect with you, or how does this work?
Yeah, in different ways. Usually either person know NGO or I can help someone to connect to some NGO. So it works in different ways. All people have different situations. Some are volunteering for a well long period of time at some NGOs. Some are invited by some organization or just join their friends who are already volunteering somewhere. So it's not tough to find NGO. So you just have to make sure that this NGO have permission to invite foreign volunteers, because not every NGO have this permission. You have to apply for special permission from Ministry of Social Policies of Ukraine, and if ministry allow organization to invite foreigners, then NGO can do this easily.
Okay, great. So what you're saying is if I'm sitting at home in the US and I want to immigrate to Ukraine, all I need to do is just send you a message, email you, or call you, and we can start the process?
Yes, exactly. You can contact me. We discuss your situation, and if NGO is ready to invite you, or if you find already NGO that is ready to invite you, then I can send you documents, let's say to Chicago or New York or anywhere in the world. And you go to Embassy of Ukraine and apply, and in the time period from 1 day to 2 weeks, you will have visa.
Okay, and so what is this period of when I call you or I message you, when we start the process, to me actually getting the visa?
Okay, so basically depending where you're located right now, and depending on NGO availability, again, documents can be prepared pretty fast, in a couple of days, and then sent by post to your country. And delivery time differs, of course. If it is Poland, Warsaw, or Krakow, it's 2-3 days of delivery. If US, Canada, or China, or Australia, it's probably 3 weeks, maybe faster by DHL. Postal services. And then you can go to the embassy, apply, and again, depending on embassy availability and how busy they are with work, they can approve your visa sometimes in a 1 day, especially if you pay so-called urgent visa fee, or within time period of 1 or 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's great. So what you're saying, if you're living in the US, I can literally contact you, and then after I contact you, submit the documents, and in a couple of days I get a visa to Ukraine, right? It's that simple.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, wow, that's great, man. Because I did it when I was in Ukraine. I didn't know how easy it was, even being abroad. That's great. So tell me about the renewal process then. So I get this temporary residence, so I get the visa D at the beginning. I wait a few months, and then I get this temporary residence. And with this temporary residence, can you talk about the renewal process here?
Yes, so renewal process is also not difficult, and also depends on your NGO that is inviting you. And you just go to immigration office in Kyiv or any other city of Ukraine, and go to immigration office with your passport translation, with insurance, with address proof, and with supportive documents from NGO, and apply for extension. And extension can be done for 1 more year.
Yeah, because from my experience, unless you know Ukrainian, you can't really, it's hard to do this on your own. So you can help with this whole process, right? Like I don't need to learn Ukrainian, if I'm coming from abroad. I can just, contact you. You can help me renew it every year, right?
Yeah, of course. Communication with NGO, arranging insurance, arranging notarized translations of your documents, helping you to get address proof, this document proving there where you are registered, and so on. So I can support you through all the process and go with you in person to immigration office as well.
Oh, wow. It's like so convenient. Yeah, because you've been helping me for all of these years. So I want to thank you so much for that. And I know, yeah, no problem. But also, there's a way to get permanent residency through this temporary residence, right?
Yes, you can get permanent residence as well if you stay continuously in some particular status, let's say in work status or in volunteer status, for 5 years. For example, let's say you arrive to Ukraine as Red Cross volunteer, you work or volunteer 5 years, and after 5 years of continuous stay, if you never leave Ukraine for more than 90 days period, you can apply for permanent residence.
Oh, wow. So if I come to Ukraine, on this volunteer visa, I stay in Ukraine volunteering, after 5 years, I can apply for permanent residence.
Yes, exactly. If you do this without interruption, because sometimes it happens that person arrive to Ukraine on invitation of one NGO, then this NGO either close or stop operating, then you get new visa D, arrive with different NGOs. So all people have different stories, but if you continue 5 years, with some particular organization and without changing your visa D from one to another one, then you can get permanent residence on basis of 5-year stay.
Okay, and with permanent residence, after that, you can apply for a passport eventually, right?
Yes, if you need to. But basically, permanent residence gives you almost all the same rights as Ukrainian citizens. You just cannot vote and participate on elections.
Hey, what if I want to vote? I want to vote for Zelensky.
Then citizenship.
Citizenship, okay.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So basically what you're saying in 10 years from beginning to end, I can literally be a Ukrainian citizen, right?
In theory, yes, but for citizenship, if you don't have any Ukrainian origin, any Ukrainian roots, you have to be approved by president, by presidential signature, and you have to pass language test for knowing Ukrainian.
Okay.
So without knowing Ukrainian, it's impossible to get citizenship.
Okay, and when it comes to permanent residency, I don't have to take any language tests for that.
Exactly.
Okay, and I get all of the same rights except for I can't vote.
Exactly.
Okay, so I can buy land and all of that.
Everything.
Everything.
Yes.
Okay, great. So let's talk about like the next visa. So this would be a work visa. Yeah, I was talking with you about this before, but then my company decided they're going to, take care of this for me. So I'm not really too keen on how the work visa process is. Can you talk about the steps on how to get a work visa? Do I need
okay.
a visa D first? Yeah, how does this work? The steps.
Yes. For work visa, of course, first of all, you need employer who is ready to employ you. Let's say it's some media company. Let's say, I don't know, representation of Fox News in Ukraine or BBC in Ukraine. And then they have to issue work permit for you. It's special document issued for contract period by State Labor Center of Ukraine and can be issued for the period from 6 months to 3 years. And then with work permit, you go outside of Ukraine, again, to any diplomatic representation of Ukraine, in Krakow, in Washington, in Berlin, anywhere, any embassy of Ukraine, and apply for work visa. It's called D4 type visa.
Okay. And you have many clients that have applied for this work visa before, and you got them the work visa that they needed. So can you talk about your clients a bit? Who are these people that apply for the work visa? What professions do they have? Like, what's a typical person here?
Okay, what a typical person, it's IT guy who work in Ukraine from any country of the world, can be from US, from India, from Germany. Like we have a lot of IT personnel here because like Ukrainian IT industry, I think, is quite prominent, but it can be any profession. I saw people of any jobs getting work permit in Ukraine. Very often it's management positions as well, because you can get work permit if you set up company in Ukraine by your own. So, for example, foreign investor who want to do something here, either property investments or media company or logistics company, he can set up company in Ukraine, LLC, limited liability company, and get work permit for himself on basis of this company.
Okay, so when it comes to work visa, there's two ways, I guess, that they can get it. They can get invited from their employer, and you can help with that, getting the work visa once they have an employer that is in Ukraine, or they can open a company, and you can help them open a company in order for them to get this work visa, correct?
Yes, exactly. I can help people even to open company remotely without coming to Ukraine, just through sending power of attorney. First, power of attorney for getting tax ID in Ukraine, and then for opening LLC or any other format of company. Maybe someone won't join stock company or whatever. Yes. So usually either people are employed on basis of work permit issued by the company where they have either 100% share or 50% share, like their own companies in some way, or they're employed by company where they actually work, let's say media company or construction company.
Okay, so say if they're opening a company, what documents do they need to submit to you?
To me, basically, to register LLC, if person is here, I need presence of that person at notary office for registration actions. And what I need is passport and tax ID, basically. And everything else, like founding articles, memorandums, foundation protocols, I can prepare from my end for opening LLC.
Okay, and how do they get the tax ID?
Tax ID is quite easy process to get. You can get it from tax administration within 3-4 days if you're personally in Ukraine, and if you send power of attorney, it's probably the same process, just it depends how fast power of attorney will arrive to Ukraine.
Okay. So I remember we were talking before when we were going over, what we're going to talk about during this podcast. You said that there's certain professions that's, if you have like some specific profession, you can easily get a work ID, work visa here. How does this work?
Yes, maybe I mentioned that on basis of certain professions, you can get permanent residence.
Oh, permanent
easily.
resident. I'm sorry, not
Yes.
work visa. Permanent
Work
residency.
visa you can get if you do any job, like construction work, cleaning, whatever. Any kind of job, you can get work permit and be invited. Yes, and there is certain list of professions approved every year by Minister of Economy of Ukraine of so-called strategically important jobs that are in high demand in Ukraine. And usually these jobs are related to medicine, to IT, and to construction. And if you have proved work experience, for example, in medicine or in programming, or let's say in fixing trains or electric turbines or something like this. If you have confirmed 3-year work experience and related education or certificates, you can apply for permanent residence based on your skills and profession.
Okay, say I'm one of these skilled professionals that Ukraine wants, and then I have the 3 years experience that you're saying. I can just fast track myself to permanent residency. How long does this take?
Yes, exactly. You can apply for permanent residence even almost immediately after arriving to Ukraine if you gather all the proofs of your previous work experience, education, previous contracts that you had related to this job. And roughly, I would say consideration period for permanent residence is 6 months.
6 months. Okay, and where can I find a list of these professions?
You can contact me. I will provide this list, or you can find this list on website of Ministry of Economy of Ukraine.
Okay, yeah, maybe in the description of this video we'll leave a link to that so they can check
exactly.
out the list. Okay, and what would you say is the hardest part about getting a work visa in Ukraine? I know it sounds quite simple, but what would be like the hardest part so people can understand?
Okay. Yeah, it can be different hard parts depending on personal situation. First of all, of course, you have to find employer who is ready to support you through all this process, because employer have to pay certain government fees for work permit issuance. Because some employers, they're ready to invite foreigners and employ foreigners, but they usually want you already to have residence and don't want to take care of documentation. And sometimes hard part might be proof of address, because usually when foreigner arrive first time in Ukraine, they stay with friends or at booking.com or Airbnb or some hostel, and you don't have really a rental contract or some long-term relationship with landlord. And in Ukraine, after getting residence permit, you have to register at some accommodation, either where you have rental contract or with your friends. Or just that is the rule that in Ukraine you have to have address proof.
Yeah, from my experience, you can say it's not that difficult finding an apartment to rent here in Ukraine. Sure, prices are going up a little bit, but compared to Western Europe and the U.S., it's quite affordable here. And from my experience, you could just talk to the landlord, and a lot of times the landlord, they'll give you put you on the propiska, and then you will have the proof of address that you need, right?
Yes, that should be like this, but sometimes landlords refuse to do this for some reason. I mean, first case scenario, it might be if landlord is outside of Ukraine, let's say living in Poland and renting out apartment in Kyiv or Lviv, and they just cannot simply register you, because registration can be done only by landlord visiting personally local administration office. Yes, and another scenario that landlords are just afraid to register anyone or afraid to register foreigners, because they have this kind of mentality that if I register someone at apartment, maybe this a person will take away apartment from me, or maybe I will be forced to pay taxes for rent an apartment or something like this. So yeah, sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes people are having challenges in registering address.
So
But if you have good landlord and relationship with landlord, and if that is decent and serious person, usually they're ready to register you.
all right. So, in your opinion, do you think this is something that people should worry about, or do you think it's something that's once they get here, they can figure it out quite easily?
Yes, it can be figured out quite easily, but yeah, just sometimes for some people it's challenging if they cannot find long-term accommodation, if they don't have any local contacts, and so on.
Yeah, I mean, I can give an anecdote. For me, it was never difficult, and for my friends that live here and they got the visa D to temporary residence, it wasn't difficult for them as well. So yeah, I mean, if this is the hardest parts, then it seems like the process is not that difficult. But also, so you get a work visa, and what is the path to permanent residency? Is it a quick, easy 5-year path, or how does this work?
Exactly. So we mentioned one scenario. If you have strategic profession, let's say you're a doctor or a software engineer or architect or construction specialist, then you can get it quite easily in a fast track process. If you just do normal job, I don't know, in media, recording podcasts, being a lawyer.
That's what I do.
And
Oh,
so
that's
on.
what you do.
Yeah.
Podcast lawyer. Okay.
Yeah, then it's 5 years period. If you continue working in Ukraine for 5 years, you might change company, but you have to have a residence permit through all this period of 5 years. And if you do this, then you are allowed to apply for permanent residence on basis of 5-year stay. And yeah, I already have successful cases. Even though when the war began, many foreigners left Ukraine, some of them stay, continue working here. So I have different examples from Italian investors who own company and have work permit on basis of owning company, to African IT guys who work here in IT sector.
Okay. Great. So those are like the two main visas that people get, most common ones that people ask you for, or is it maybe another one, property investment or?
Property investment is, of course, more rare. Not that many people buy property, especially nowadays. One of the most common, it's also on basis of family relationship. If you have wife or child in Ukraine.
Yeah, we'll go over that towards the end, because this is kind of, it's very clear cut.
Yes.
You know how to get that. So let's talk about property investment. From what I heard, you need to invest $100,000 US dollars into property, and then then what do you get? It's like a permanent residence. How does this work?
Yes, exactly. So you can invest in property $100,000 or equivalent. It have to be official transfer from your foreign bank to your Ukrainian bank or to your Ukrainian company, let's say, that is doing real estate investments. But it have to be official bank transfer. So if you just bring 100,000 in cash, it doesn't work. Yes, and then you do this investment, you purchase property, or potentially it can be any other assets. It's not necessarily about property, it's more about investment in Ukrainian economy. So technically you can invest, in heavy trucks if you're doing logistics, or you can invest into some kind of land. Of course, foreigner cannot buy agricultural land right now, but you can buy land for construction. Yeah, so it can be real estate, land, some equipment, some other things, some other assets in theory. But in general, investment of 100,000, if money are clean and coming from your foreign bank account or Ukrainian bank account or company, then you are qualified for permanent residency.
Okay, and so what documents would you need altogether? So we have documented proof that you transferred money from your foreign bank account to your local Ukrainian bank account. What other documents do you need?
Yes, so for permanent residence, it's always more complicated in terms of documentation. You need to have police clearance certificate, or certificate of that proves that you have no criminal record in your home country or in country where you lived before that. And you need to have some kind of proof of address, because and it also might be challenging for some people with permanent residence. because not all countries have the same propiska as we have in Ukraine, just letter proven address. For example, it doesn't exist in US or in UK. And for French citizen, for example, it's easy to apply for permanent residence because French people, they have address written in their passport. And for US citizen, if you don't have driving license with your address mentioned there, it might be quite challenging to get proof of address in your home country.
Okay, because driver's license in the U.S. it has the address, so this is acceptable as a propiska or a proof of address, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, great. And so, how long is the process after you invest, in order to get this permanent residency?
So consideration period for permanent residency is half a year always, in all cases, in all scenarios. Sometimes you might get it faster. Yeah, and also count preparation period, like getting this police clearance from your home country, getting address proof, doing document translations, and so on. Plus, if you are coming from exotic country, it might be challenging to do document legalization as well, because, for example, Ukraine and Germany or Ukraine and United States, they're members of Hague Convention about apostille, and you can just put apostille on any documents, and document would be valid in Ukraine and can be legalized in Ukraine. But some countries are not members of this Hague Convention. So, for example, if you are coming from, let's say, Kenya, it might be quite challenging also to legalize documents from your home country.
Okay, is there an approval process? For example, you want to invest in this. Do they have to approve your investment first, or how does this work?
No, it shouldn't be approved by anyone. You choose what you invest to. Just money have to be clean, have to come from your foreign Ukrainian account to your Ukrainian bank account, or from foreign bank account to your Ukrainian company, and then you can decide where you invest. It can be real estate, land, equipment. So there are different ways, but it's not possible that some government institution will say you are investing, let's say, in Odessa, not in Kyiv. That is why we will not approve you. So you are free to choose where to invest.
Okay, so
and in what assets to invest.
Okay, so as long as the money is clean, and then I invest in something here in Ukraine, $100,000 or more, then I'm on track to get this permanent residency, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, great. And according to your clients, what are the most common investments that people make? Like, is it mostly property? Is it like, what is it?
Again, it depends on the region. Usually apartments, to be honest.
Okay.
Some people are purchasing private houses. For example, I have a client who purchased a private house in Bucha near Kyiv. Some are purchasing hotels or parts of the hotels. Some people are purchasing land for construction. Yeah, I have few cases that people do investment into equipment. For example, industrial equipment for processing wood. But it's quite rare cases for some particular type of businessman, yes.
Yeah, but one question that I wanted to ask is, so houses, they're not typically $100,000 or more, maybe in around Kyiv, but houses outside of Kyiv, it's typically like under 100,000. Sure, apartments in Kyiv can be 100,000, but are people investing, this 100K into just one apartment, or are they buying like mostly, apartment like blocks or multiple apartments?
Yeah, I mean, as you wish. It doesn't matter what exactly you buy. Just you have to buy through official transaction from your bank account to, let's say, seller bank account. So purchase in cash doesn't count as investment. And yeah, you can buy 5 houses, 10 houses, 1 apartment, 3 apartments. It doesn't matter because, again, prices are different. In Kyiv city center, yeah, I would say 100,000 is common price for a decent apartment. In some rural areas, probably you can buy 10 houses for the same amount of money.
Yeah, so if you have 100K, you can't really buy a house where I'm from, like in LA. But you can come to Ukraine, buy 10 houses.
Yeah, in some remote areas, yes.
Yeah. No, I'm just joking. But yeah, it's cool. So, just for a fun question, what are the most unique, interesting things people have invested money in?
Okay, quite common are now investments into real estate in Western Ukraine because it's safe area, like rockets never reach Carpathian Mountains or places like Uzhgorod. So yeah, there is very big attention to Western Ukraine region, and especially mountain areas like Bukovel, Vorokhta, Mikulich, and other resorts in Carpathian Mountains. And people are purchasing either land there or some houses or apartments or shares in hotel. Yeah, and of course, priorities always key real estate, I would say,
Yeah.
because it always have demand.
Yeah, and people do have to remember that there's a war going on in this country. And so, with that being said, a lot of people are coming to Ukraine to, defend the sovereignty of the country, and then you can get a visa through military, right? How does this work?
Not even visa. Technically, if you sign military contract with either military force of Ukraine or National Guard of Ukraine or National Police, then you don't need visa. Your document proving your legal stay would be your military ID. So yes, any person that comes to Ukraine and sign contract is legal in Ukraine during this contract duration. And even if you stayed, let's say, in Ukraine 5 years illegally and afraid to be deported, then you can just sign military contract and will be legalized immediately.
It's good to know, just in
Yes.
case. Yeah, okay, so once your contract is over, that means you are no longer legal in Ukraine, right? Or can you get like a permanent residence through this?
Okay, it depends. You can get under certain circumstances. And after you break your contract, you have 1 month period to leave the country or legalize yourself in some other way. Yes, and current rule is that you can get permanent residence if you serve 3 years continuously. You finish your 3-year contract, you never stop it, never break it, you can apply for a permanent residence of Ukraine. Or you can apply it if you have some sad circumstances as well. For example, you got injury while serving in military and were written off from the military. But also people have to remember that if you want to get permanent residence on basis of injury, it have to be really serious injury that force like a military commandment to write you off from the military. Because if it just, let's say, small shrapnel shot or something like this, and you left by your initiative, the military not were written off by the doctor, then you are not eligible.
Okay, so you have to get approval from a military doctor.
Exactly.
Okay, and what do you think would be considered a serious injury?
Okay, I don't know. I'm not a medical person, but I'm sure if someone lost eye or arm or something like this person is eligible. And if this person was written off the military by the doctor.
And you can help with this whole process, post their military contract, you can help them get permanent residency, right?
Yes, exactly. If you have documents proving that you served in the military and stopped your contract, let's say because of injury, or if you served 3 years, yes, I can help you to apply for permanent residence. And the same within half a year period, you will get it.
Oh yeah, it's great. Yeah, I haven't heard about this one too much because a lot of my foreign friends that I've met here that are fighting for Ukraine, they tend to meet like a local girl and then they do like a path to citizenship this way or permanent residence this way. Yeah, so let's talk about how people can get visas, residency, citizenship through marriage or family reunion. So let's start with marriage.
Yes, so with marriage, it's very simple. Let's say if you got married in Ukraine and have Ukrainian wife or Ukrainian husband, then you can apply for family reunion visa. And the same you can do if you have a child who is Ukrainian citizen. And both marriage can be done in Ukraine or outside of Ukraine. So, for example, if you are living, let's say, with your Ukrainian wife somewhere in Italy, you registered marriage in Italy, you never been to Ukraine, but you can go to consulate of Ukraine first to legalize your marriage in Ukraine and then apply for family reunion visa.
Okay, so if I marry a Ukrainian abroad, all I need to do is just go to the consulate or embassy. They will approve my marriage certificates, and then I can start the permanent residence process. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, but permanent residence process you cannot start immediately. So you can apply for permanent residence after 2 years of marriage. Before that, you can apply for temporary, so you can legalize yourself immediately on basis of marriage. But for permanent residence, your marriage have to survive 2 years.
Yeah, so for some people, that's a tough task.
Yes,
But
indeed.
yeah, how can you help with this then?
Okay, so I can help to gather all documents required for visa and help you to apply for permanent residence as well. So first, it's gathering documents for visa D. Again, book an appointment at consulate, arranging insurance, making sure that you have all needed documents proving your marriage. Because again, this marriage have to be legalized in Ukraine or have to be conducted in Ukraine. So if you just have, let's say, Brazilian marriage certificate that was never recognized in Ukraine, you cannot apply. Or if you registered some religious marriage, let's say in Saudi Arabia, it's not counted as well. And you have to legalize this marriage first. And then you apply for family reunion visa and then come again to Ukraine and go to immigration office and apply for either temporary residence permit or permanent residence permit.
Okay, so what you're saying then is, say if I've never been to Ukraine, I marry a Ukrainian woman abroad, I take this certificate to the embassy or consulate, get it approved by Ukraine, and then I call you, and then you can just help me out with the rest of the process, and I can become a permanent resident, right?
Yes, absolutely. So I can help you to prepare all the documents and instruct you what to do. So it would be basically, I prepare documents for you, send everything, you put all together, go to the embassy appointment. In the same day or in a couple of days, you will get visa, and then you come to Ukraine and apply for either temporary or permanent residence permit.
Yeah, it sounds like the hardest part about this is finding a Ukrainian woman to marry, right?
Of course.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the most challenging.
Exactly. So, okay. So when it comes to kids, okay, say I'm put like a hypothetical situation. I mean, it's very rare, but say you marry or you're not married, but I guess you can get like citizenship through marriage. So let's skip that. Let's talk about dual nationality. I know that it's not allowed in Ukraine right now.
Okay, it's quite confusing situation, both for foreigners and for Ukrainians. Dual citizenship is not illegal, but it's not recognized by Ukraine. So, for example, if you want to get Ukrainian passport as American, you can apply. You will get temporary passport for 2-year period, and you have to surrender your American citizenship. And then only after that, when you provide proof of canceling previous citizenship, you can get Ukrainian permanent citizenship, let's say, in exchange for temporary passport.
Yeah, but
Yes.
you were saying you were optimistic about them changing the law, maybe after the war or.
Yeah, it's discussed very actively. It was discussed by previous presidents. Now there is Zelensky initiative towards approving double citizenship. But it's part of political process. So we don't know when it will be approved. But at some point it will happen because having double citizenship is reality for many Ukrainians, especially now when many people are living for 3 years as refugees and already acquired passports of countries where they stay, let's say Poland or Germany or Canada. Yes, and also talking about double citizenship, if you are a Ukrainian citizen already, you can acquire multiple citizenships without canceling Ukrainian. So it's not illegal, but for Ukrainian government, you will be recognized as purely Ukrainian citizen.
All right, great. So the ones we discussed all 4 types. We discussed family reunion, marriage, work visa, military, as well as volunteer. You said there's other ways, right? So maybe you can just list off the other ways people can, get a visa with your help or residency.
Yes, so now it's not very common, but before the war, it was extremely popular, I would say, student visa. Usually it's students from African countries, from China, Vietnam, India, who were coming to Ukraine to study medicine. Yeah, and in Ukraine, like before the war, we had thousands of them in every city, in every big city, I think, and many of them stay till now and are continuing their studies. So yes, study visa, that's one of the options if you want to get Ukrainian education, because in Asian and African countries, Ukrainian medical education is highly appreciated. Also working in foreign media or foreign bank representation, it's quite rare, but if you work in foreign media or foreign bank representation, you can get residence permit on basis of this as well. Also, one of the scenarios is having your family member who is already resident in Ukraine. Let's say you're American, you marry another American lady, and she can get residence permit on basis of family reunion with you because you're already resident. So in this way, if one foreigner from big family is working in Ukraine, let's say you do media work and you can bring your wife and your kids to Ukraine and they get temporary residence on basis of family reunion with you.
And all the visa types that you mentioned right now, or the ways to get residency, you can help with all of that, right?
Yes, absolutely. So I can help even with the rare scenarios. For example, recently I had a Polish client who was applying for visa and then residency permit on basis of so-called international technical aid. So he was doing here USAID project that was considered international technical help to Ukraine, and he got special visa type and residence on the period of that project duration.
Okay, so what you're saying is you're an expert in immigration law in Ukraine, right? Safe to say?
Yes, so I can help with all visa types. I can help with temporary residence permit, with permanent residence permit, with citizenship application, yeah, and getting some other special status, let's say, if you are working in some kind of representation of foreign company or foreign institution, let's say EU representation here, not exactly diplomat, but just EU representation that, for example, do here investigation of war crimes. You get special document called service card that you are temporary contract worker in Ukraine, providing services here. So yeah, there are some quite rare statuses as well.
Okay, and we'll link all of your contact information in the description of this video. But can you just talk about what is the best way people can contact you?
Yes, so any contact option, either website, email, phone number, Instagram, Facebook, yeah, whatever you want.
Okay, can you talk about, so the website, it's intermarium.com.ua?
It's intermarium.legal.
Intermarium.legal, okay.
And we'll link this to the video as well.
Okay, great. Yeah, so we'll put all these links. We'll put all these links, in the description of this video. But I guess that's about it. We talked about the main four. You talked about these other kind of unique ones. I feel like this will be really helpful, especially for my followers. Like I told you, I get these messages all the time, and each time I'm like, oh, I have to kind of like message this guy again because I'm very good about responding to messages. But now I could just link this video. That'd be great.
Yeah, of course, and we can cover some other rare statuses, and of course some people are willing to apply for citizenship if they have origin from Ukraine, because for example in Poland or in Canada many people have Ukrainian roots, or in Israel as well, and you can apply for citizenship on basis of this. So you just have to prove that your mother was born in Ukraine or your grandmother was born in Ukraine, and if you prove this lineage from Ukraine, you're eligible for citizenship. And in addition to this, people of Ukrainian origin, let's say their ancestors arrived to Canada in 19th century, but they still feel connected to Ukraine and can prove that they have relation to Ukraine, they can get a special status of foreign Ukrainian as well. That allows you even to study for free in Ukraine, of course, if you pass exams at university, and to get long-term visas.
Okay, and from my experience, I know the hryvnia fluctuates a lot, so it's hard to give prices, but from my experience, And my visa, it's very affordable. Yeah, so I mean, the most expensive thing we talked about was the $100,000 investment, and I don't want to go into details of how much things cost because, like I said, like the prices fluctuate a lot due to the hryvnia being a bit unstable. But the whole process is quite affordable. So I think if you're at home and you want more information and you're maybe on a budget, you can still do this. All you need to do is just contact Yurii at Intermarium legal, right? And then all the contact information will be there as well as the description of this video. So Yurii, if there's nothing else we can discuss, I guess we can wrap it up.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you for inviting me here. And
it's been great chatting with you, man. And I haven't had a sip of this water because I feel like this whole conversation, was just flowing so nicely. So thanks for chatting with you. And I'm sure this video will be very useful for at least my followers.
Yeah, hopefully more people will arrive to Ukraine after this.
Hopefully, yeah, it's going to be a good time to rebuild.
Yes, we have serious population shortage now. Around, on different estimates, between 6 and 8 million people left. And plus, remember about people who stay on occupied territories, like in Crimea, in Zaporizhia region, in Donetsk region, Luhansk region. And plus, every year, we have death rate that is 200,000 people per year, higher than birth rate.
Yeah.
Of course, partially it's happening because of the war and all deaths that are brought by the military conflict. But we need people coming to Ukraine, and we need to rebuild the country. And that is why very soon Ukraine will require lots of workforce.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It's very sad what's going on. And like you were saying, a lot of Ukrainians left. And unfortunately, it's been 3 years. So I can imagine, some of them may not come back because it's been 3 years. They may probably have a new family. They settled their kids there. So yeah, Ukraine does need people, and especially for rebuilding. So yeah, if you're interested in any of these visas, you can help Ukraine rebuild. And Yurii can help you get the visa. So yeah, thanks Yurii. It was great chatting with you. And yeah, intermarium.legal.
Yes. And also for, you mentioned people who left country and build new families. So these people are never lost for Ukraine. They are still citizens. Their children, even born in other countries, are citizens of Ukraine. And yeah, these people are also opportunity for our country because their family members who are Germans, Poles, Americans, Japanese, whatever, at some point they might want to come to Ukraine as well and build a new life here.
Mm-hmm. And you're here to help them.
Absolutely.
Great. Yeah, but yeah, thanks again, Yurii.
Welcome.
Yeah, we're reached about our time. So yeah, great. And if you like this video, subscribe. If you know a friend that wants to come to Ukraine, share this video with them. And if you want to ask Yurii some questions, you can comment down below, or you can just click one of the links in the description of this video. And yeah, you can get directly in contact with him. But
Yes,
yeah, thanks
exactly.
again, Yurii. Appreciate it.
Welcome.